Hey everyone, today we're going to take a quick look at Outreach. Outreach is an email engagement platform. It's one of the top 2 email engagement platforms on the market today. It's likely that you'll be using Outreach at some point during your SDR or sales career. You may also be using something like SalesLoft or Yesware. There are a number of email engagement platforms out there, but Outreach is one of the big ones. So today we want to just give you a quick familiarity with the Outreach platform. We're not going to cover every feature here. We're just going to cover the main things that you'll be using on a day-to-day basis. So getting started, we're here on our homepage. The homepage is where you can get a quick overview of your upcoming tasks and engagement for the week. Now coming over here to the Prospects tab. Prospects is where you can see all of your prospects within Outreach. So a prospect, you can simply think of a prospect as a lead or a prospect that you're going after here. One thing to note here is that Outreach is going to be integrated with your CRM. So if your company is using something like Salesforce as their CRM, Outreach and Salesforce are going to be syncing back and forth in real time so that both systems are up to date. So let's say you add Tom into Outreach, Tom gets added into Salesforce. Or if you add Tom into Salesforce, Tom gets added into Outreach here. Now, the next thing to note is that any activity you do within Outreach or any edits that are made within Outreach is also going to sync back into Salesforce. So if we edit Tom's information, like his company or maybe add his LinkedIn, all this detail here is going to flow back into Salesforce. And that's great because we want to make sure that all of our systems are up to date so that we have the most accurate data possible. Now, if we come to our accounts tab here, you can see that we don't have many accounts in our Outreach right now, but similarly, the accounts will be the accounts that you're prospecting after. It's typical that your prospects here will be assigned to accounts in the accounts tab. So that if you click into, say, an account, you'll see all of the prospects that are associated with that account. Moving on here, you can see there's a lot of different things you can do in Outreach. What we really want to focus on today is sequences and templates. A sequence is an outbound campaign that you put together to go reach out to your prospects or go reach out to your leads that you're trying to get meetings with. So you can see we have a couple of different sequences here. You can toggle a sequence on or off. These sequences are on right now. And you can set up different steps in a sequence. So right now I have 3 emails that are going out in this sequence. What this means is when I take my prospects that we looked at here and I put them into a sequence, a prospect is going to receive these 3 emails that I've laid out here. So they're going to receive this one on day 1, this second email 4 days later, and then a third email 7 days later. Now let's take a look at what an email might look like. So in the email itself, you can build out, obviously put in your subject line, and then start to build out your actual campaign here, your actual email here. You can get a quick preview of what this looks like because you can see here that I've put in these custom variables. So it's first name, company, and that's important because we don't want to have to come in here and change the variables every time we add a prospect. But what it's going to do is it's going to take the prospect that we put in, it's going to look at their company name, it's going to look at their first name, and it's going to insert it for us. So like Morgan will go ahead and be inserted, and then company will be inserted when that candidate or when that prospect has a company name. So let's take a look at what other kind of variables you can add. So you can add first name, middle name, last name, their full name. It's a really robust list that you can add in here. So if we look at our second template here, we can see we get a little more fancy with some of our variables. Like, how does your calendar look this coming week? And then Outreach will take care of what day it is. So weekdays from now. So how does your calendar look for this coming Tuesday or Wednesday? A couple other things to note here on this page. When these emails do start going out, you'll be able to see the engagement activity with those emails. So you'll be able to see how many people are opening my emails, how many people are clicking into my emails to read them, And then how many people are actually replying to my emails? What you want to do is over time try to optimize those metrics. One great way to optimize your email metrics is by simply A/B testing different things. So look, I just cloned this email, and then what I will do is maybe I want to edit this subject line. And I think that, instead of SDR, BDR candidate is going to get more opens. Now, when I add my prospects, let's say I add 100 prospects to this email, Outreach is going to automatically split those prospects up for me. And it's going to say, okay, I'll put 50 prospects on this one, 50 prospects on this email. And then I can see which one of those has better open rates. And then if, let's say, BDR actually is better, I can turn off this thread and all my prospects will just go to this thread. Now, what's important is when you start testing, like any good scientific test, you want to make sure you're holding your variables constant. So if I came in here and just changed BDR, change that, that's a good test because now the body is still the same and we can actually do a good comparison between the two emails. But let's say I came in here and changed BDR candidate for a company in SF and New York with a bunch of exclamation marks, something crazy like that. And then I came down here and I started changing this to looking forward to hearing from you. I can't wait for us to sell you on our product, blah, 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 blah. Now, if I did that and then I ran these campaigns, now these emails are wildly different. I've got a way different subject line and I've got a different call to action. So these results, it's going to be hard to pinpoint what these results are telling me because maybe open rates do increase like crazy or maybe they decrease like crazy. So I don't know if it's BDR, I don't know if it's exclamation marks, and maybe replies increase like crazy. But again, I don't know. Is it because more people just open my email or is it because I added, a different call to action? So what I'm saying is you want to be scientific in your experiments. So if you are testing, test one variable, hold the other ones constant, and you'll get much better results. Now, it's not just emails that you can use these campaigns for. Let's go and create a email campaign from scratch. Maybe actually we'll use a blueprint. So Outreach provides us with some blueprints we can use. I like this first high touch sequence here. So in this sequence, we can see that it starts with an email here on day 1. Then we have a phone call on day 2. What this will do is Outreach isn't going to make the phone call for you, but it will create a task for you to complete so that when you come into Outreach in the morning, you'll on your task list, on your daily to-do list, it'll say, hey, Mitch, you need to make a phone call today for these prospects. After you make that phone call, the prospect will automatically move to the next step. So then we have another email on day 4 here. You can see that we're A/B testing 2 things into this email. We've got a LinkedIn connection request. So again, Outreach won't make that request for you. On your to-do list that day, it will say, hey, Mitch, you need to go into LinkedIn and go send a connection request to this prospect. Another phone call, another email, phone call, email, view profile on LinkedIn. Again, on your to-do list, it'll say, hey, go take a quick look at Bob's LinkedIn. Now, one thing to point out here is that there's both automated emails, like you can see here, and then there's manual emails. So you can have Outreach automate the actual sending of the email, or if you set up a manual email, then again, it won't auto send for you, but on your to-do list, it'll say, hey, Mitch, you need to go send this email today. And the advantage here, or why you might want to have a manual email, is simply because maybe you want to go and really customize that email and you want to make sure that you're giving the prospect exactly what they want. So for this last email, it looks like Outreach is saying, hey, for this, go and enter in some different links to white papers or case studies or webinars for this prospect to take a look at. And Outreach wouldn't want to automate that because it doesn't know exactly what links or what documents you want to link to. So in this case, it's a manual email and you can just go plug in these links and then hit send. Now, one other good distinction here is notice how this email says reply and this email says new thread. What that means is in the subject line for this email, it's simply going to use the subject line of the last email that you sent to. So it looks like it's this subject line, let's talk. And then this email on day 20 is going to use that. It's going to reply to that email. So what this looks like in your prospect's email inbox is it has that little RE colon and then the subject line. And this is a good way to not trick, but in some ways trick the prospects into opening the email, because maybe they think that they have emailed you back before, or maybe they think it's a more familiar sender, and subconsciously they click into it. In this email, we're starting a new thread, so we're starting a new subject line. Now, another thing we want to take a look at is templates. So we looked at those templates that we were creating for all those other emails a second ago in our sequence. You can also create one-off templates like we've done here. So we have our, we basically created an email template with our subject line, the body of the email, and we've even attached documents to this template. Now, what this is great for is if, let's say you're in your Gmail, you're in your email inbox, whether it's Gmail or Outlook, and you're going to compose a message and you want to send that message to somebody, and you don't want to write that from scratch. You actually want to just pull up your template from Outreach, and boom, Outreach populates all of this information for you. You can see it added all my documents. It put in the body of the email. All I need to do is, sometimes it will fill in this first name, last name if that prospect is in your database already. Other times you'll have to fill it in, but it's a quick, couple of things that I need to enter, and then I can hit send. So this is a huge time saver instead of having to type out these documents or these emails over and over again. So I'd highly suggest creating those templates to make your life easier. In Outreach, you also have reporting. We won't go too much into depth here, but just know that there's a lot of different reporting options in the Outreach platform. So I'll leave you with this. So you can go to outreach.io, and if you go to the resources tab and go to Outreach University, you'll be able to look at all of their different documentation for Outreach. So they've got a lot in here around configuring Outreach, around setting up, your sequences, your inbox, your templates, your custom fields, everything you'd ever need to know to get started on the platform. So click into these. You can watch a couple of videos. It may require you to register to be able to watch some of these. Just type in your email and your first name and you can get started.